to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. In the next 2 years to the general election, Rigathi Gachagua has one role in this country. And successfully, the former deputy president will make the image of William Ruto. He will dent the image and it will be irredeemable. Some of us say that it is indeed true that the president and his team underestimated Rigathi Gachagua. And consistently, Rigathi has something new to say about the president. And if you want to confirm that Ruto is defeated on how he can handle Rigathi, there are only 2 lines that each speaker, when you listen to those talking, when you listen to Kindiki talking, when you listen to William Ruto in peace and William Ruto himself, their only one thing is to brand Rigathi Gachagua a tribalist. And the other one is to say that he's not going to be elected because of that impeachment. But I listened to Rigathi's interview last night. One thing comes out clear. Rigathi anaweza atabebesha Ruto makosa zote za Kenya Kwanza. Even all those things that happened when Rigathi was in government, Rigathi anabebesha Ruto msalaba yote, and Ruto is going to be the enemy. By 2027, if they're not careful, it will be a race between 2 people. The presidential race is going to be between 2 people. The people versus the person, Ruto, President Ruto. And I want to show you that in the next minutes in this podcast. But before that, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. Subscription is absolutely free. And I continue to remind you that in this podcast, we have a different approach to what political analysis really means. We demonstrate so that it doesn't just look as propaganda. We show you the photos, we show you the evidence, so that here, after watching this video, if you can go and watch other flashy news, but you'll be having a different perspective, and you can go somewhere and argue out your point. So subscribe. The advantage is if you subscribe, you'll be able to receive notifications. I listened to some statements Rigathi made, and you might not agree with him, but it is true that attack on a former president cannot be done by authority of any other person apart from the president himself.
Let me tell you, Obina, many things have been said, and it's important that we put it on record.
Okay.
That any issue to do with a retired president, yeah,
okay,
whether positive or negative,
okay,
can only be undertaken with the full authority of the current president. When security guards from Mamangena were withdrawn, when bodyguards from Odour Kenyatta were withdrawn, it is William Ruto who authorized. There is nobody else who can authorize anything of a retired president outside the president himself.
It was said it was you. Or
how? From which authority?
He sent his people.
Which,
I
am asking with which authority? I was just a principal assistant to the president. I had no authority over a president. That is his peer. They are the same level. So any mistreatment done to Odour Kenyatta, his property in Northlands, anything done, whether positive or negative, I want to put it here today on record, has the full authority of President William Ruto, because that's the way protocol works. There is nobody who can say, as deputy president or as minister, atienda kwa Uhuru utoe askari. Utakuwa wewe ni nani? That is a sitting president. And that is why you saw President William Ruto ametoka ofisi yake, ameenda kutembelea Uhuru kwake nyumbani. He had asked him to go to Statehouse. He said, I cannot come. If you want to see me, come. come to my farm. So he went to his farm, they are crying. His idea, oh, nini. Yeah? And all the things he told Uhuru Kenyatta, he cheated him. This guy is a liar. You know, he is the one who has sponsored cases against Jubilee Party to take away Jubilee Party from President Uhuru Kenyatta. Those cases, all of them, and I'm in the knowledge, have been sponsored by William Ruto to take away Jubilee from President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Maybe someone challenges. I would want to see one MP or even President Ruto's handler challenging that statement and tell us, indeed, someone could order attack on Uhuru Kenyatta's Northland city. If someone could make such an order without approval of the president. And on that, those who follow Uhuru Kenyatta, and of course the country was very sympathetic about that incident, you can try to make corners about how Rigathi paid people to go, Chung was used. But the culprit number one, Rigathi is telling you, is William Samoei Arap Ruto. I don't know how you can challenge that fact. You need some magical science to do it. The second one I also listened to, and I would also want the state to comment on this. Rigathi is saying that there is a pseudo bank. There is a bank that the president bought using some proxies, and that is the bank receiving proceeds of affordable housing. That is the bank that is actually being used to siphon money, to siphon taxpayers' money.
The whole housing levy is about creating sufficient money. And you know that money? Because there is no capacity to absorb it, it's kept in a bank that the president bought when he became president.
Huh?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
We bought a bank?
He bought a bank. That's where the money goes.
Like local bank?
Yeah, local bank.
Which bank?
I don't want to say the name. Do your research. I'll tell you off camera, then you can go and do your research.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's a bank that has been bought to keep all this money in cash?
Yeah, that's where the money goes. And it's actually taking all businesses from Equity, from Cooperative Bank, from all other banks have lost money from government to this particular bank that the president bought through some proxies.
So Equity and Cooperative Bank are not in the
They are not.
elimination game.
They are not.
So we are remaining with
all government money now for prostitutes, state corporations, they are kept in that particular bank that the president bought.
And just listen to this. Let me just take on this affordable housing one. If you ask me, and if you do a poll in this country, a significant percentage of Kenyans, I normally look even through the comment section, they are of the idea that the affordable housing scheme is a money-making venture for people on different fronts. And let me demonstrate to you why I see that. I want you to look at this video. There is a video that Statehouse team, there is a production, a documentary they did in Mukuru kwa Ruben, and they're showing how some Mama Mboga and some Fundi has moved from his shanty to go and stay there.
Kwa majina ninaitwa Jerusha Mudhoni. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Mukuru kwa Ruben. Hapa pahali tuko ni Ruben, area inaitwa Diamond. Ninaishi hapa na watoto wangu. Niko na watoto 3 na wajukuu 4. Mimi ni single mother, na si single mother, ni mzee baba yao aliaga. So nilipaki nikiwa sukuma tu peke yangu. Hii haso nina haso, mimi nausanga tu t-shirts. Hiyo ndio tunakula, ndio tunakunywa, kidogo tunapeleka shule. Si unaona anatembea na ngambuti. Umenipata nikihaso na huko na ngambuti. Hapa pahali si pazuri. nilienda kwa cyber, nikaingia kwa e-citizen, tukafuatilia vile inaikuwa nasema, nika-apply na Mungu akanijua shinda zangu, akanionekania maisha na pale kulingana vile nilizunguka kwa zile nyumba. Hata sasa nasikia ni kama niko ndani, juu niliona choo iko ndani, maji iko ndani, stima iko. Lakini hapa bali tunaishi, choo tunatumia watu wengi na iko nje. Bavu ni moja inatumiwa na watu wote. Maji ni shinda. Sasa haina furahia, juu najua maji pale haina shida. Mara nyingine inakosa, tunaenda kutafuta maji mpaka Njenga, ama tunaenda rungarunga kutafuta maji. So hiyo ni kitu kwanza nasikia imenifurahisha. Pahali choo nimeona ni yangu, kabavu ni kangu, kila kitu niko tu pale, nakaa maisha. Ninaona hata nitarudi 18 years kulingana na ile maisha nimeona iko pale. Saa hii ninaweza ambia watu hii kitu ni lil, kwa sababu mimi mwenyewe niko na nyumba. Saa hii naenda kuhama, yule mtu atanisikia pale popote nikiongea mimi anione, ama anipigie simu akuja atembee aone ni ukweli. Mimi nimesema ile kitu yoyote president anatuambia ni ukweli, hakuna uongo iko pale.
Now, when the president is marketing and when Statehouse is marketing this affordable housing, he only speaks, or they only speak to slum dwellers. There is one side of the story that is not covered, and that is the side of the principal contributor. Today, the principal contributor for affordable housing, and someone can challenge me, is not Mama Mboga, is not the Juakali people. The contributor number one of affordable housing are civil servants. Kama, if you have another object, if you think different, take a minute and go to the comment section and tell me, Kevin, that one you are wrong. The principal contributor is so and so. It's civil servants. Do you know that when we are, and of course, that affordable housing project in Mukuru that government is really advertising, it was started by Uhuru Kenyatta. I went to see one that they started now they're demonstrating. And they are pushing that narrative that, you know, tumetoa watu from slum. And that story, the believability of that story, it doesn't even add up. Now, one thing is not being demonstrated there. Someone's just showing you how someone moved from this house to that house. But are we seeing a change in income? Income yake may change. You know? And you want to tell me that Mama Mboga lady went kwa cyber, akaanza kujaza it. Okay. Let me show you the third other observation to show you that Rigathi atabebesha Ruto mizigo zote. The issue on IBC and election rigging.
I've heard President William Ruto say that he'll win in 2027.
Yes.
Listening to the ground, the only way he can win is if he is able to change the constitution through a referendum and remove the voting power from the people of Kenya to advisors. And since he has so many advisors, he would win in the morning. That's the only way he can win.
Okay.
And he knows. He knows.
IBC has been reconstituted. Joshua Nanok, the Deputy Chief of Staff, is reportedly close to the IBC chair. Is this going to compromise the 2027 election?
He is not close to the IBC chair.
Yeah.
He was his employee. He was an attorney at the county of Turkana, where Nanok was governor. So ni mtu yake. Na ndio amemletea William Ruto akuwe chairman. So basically, IBC will be run from Statehouse. But nothing much will change. I want to tell you. It doesn't matter. Oh. Even if William Ruto appointed Farouk Kibet as chairman of IBC. Yeah? Or Oscar Sudi as chairman of IBC. He'll still lose. The vote against William Ruto, the margin will be so huge, I can tell you, nobody can do anything about it.
Yes, it is true. The new IBC chairperson is related to President Ruto. Ruto's, one of President Ruto's handler, Nanok. Not related, but he worked with him. So it goes without any doubt that probably that the new IBC chairperson has some links with the Statehouse. And now what he's saying this, that if election is missed, it is William Ruto. But then I have some positive observation on that. And I think this is the position opposition should take. Their focus should not be on who is the IBC chairman. Instead of wailing about the referee, they should focus more on mobilization. And I like the position Rigathi is taking, that it doesn't matter who is the IBC chairman. If you mobilize well your votes, even that new IBC chairman is a human being. He will not put his life, the life of the country at risk. He can show the figures and tell the president, look here, whoever wants things to go his way, look here, how can we even change this? You know, there is a level you can't change. For example, someone cannot win by 60%, then you dwindle around with the numbers. It's impossible. And now, a very interesting one, the last one I want us to look at is the issue on abductions.
No, the president, like, he's a consumer of lies because he also has no time to verify. Again, like Nurdin Haji is also a businessman.
Okay.
He's too busy doing biashara, doing deals with Adani, with Adil, with Jayesh, with Defki. The president is busy making deals and making money. He has no time to verify intelligence and to find out what is happening in the country. So he is a consumer of what Haji gives him. And he likes it that way because it's easier. He gets a report, he reads and says it's okay. But you can see, you know, how embarrassing it is. When abductions started, and we told him the abductions, he asked Haji, he said there are no abductions. The president went on TV and said there are no abductions. When everybody knew abductions are taking place, and there were videos showing people being abducted, he was told by Nurdin there are no abductions. He said, fine. He went on another day, he said, we will stop the abductions. So people asked, if you will stop them, who will you stop? It means you know they were going on. The other day, there was a president of a certain country that came, I think last week. And in one of the questions he was asked about the abductions, he said, no, everybody who was abducted has been reunited with the family, yet many people have disappeared. This president is clueless. He's so embarrassing to the country because he is here. He's the president of the country. He's supposed to be so authoritative, yet he is lying to the people of Kenya in broad daylight. And he said that all these people have been reunited with their families, yet there are so many people who are missing. There are so many others who are dead. So these ones who are dead, and I was asking, probably the dead ones, he has revived them and he related them with the families. And probably he has that capacity because the other day in Narok, he said he has talked to somebody who died in 2017. So probably in the same way he talked to the guy who died in 2017, probably he has had a conversation with the Gen Zs who are killed. He has revived them and he rated them. You know, we are very embarrassed as a country.
But you said that actually what you are saying indirectly is Ruto si mubaya ni watu wanamusaraud.
Navana.
Because you said is the intelligence is being given,
No.
so it is not.
You know, or rather, and this one is how Rigathi is demonstrating how the president is changing goalposts in the issue of the lying tongue, the issue of deception of masses. Now, this one is the biggest problem the president is facing. And this is what has caused mistrust. Watu wanaamini, huyu aseme ukweli hapa. This one is not this way. This one is a big problem. If you ask me, it's one of the reasons why the president will find it rough to convince back his people. And then you realize that even as Rigathi pushes these narratives, do you know to date, the last interview Rigathi made, he made a statement about Ruto's relationship with some RFS from South Sudan. No one responded. So people believe, okay, those are just narratives, those are just perceptions. And the president in his team always called Rigathi a tribalist and say, you know, how utakuwa elected looking at how good you are in abusing.
Hakuna mtu atapata kura ati kwa sababu alikuwa na matusi mingi. Mtu atapatiwa kura kwa sababu kuna kazi amefanya na inaonekana na wananchi. Ama wananchi tunaelewa na mambo gani? Tunaweza kupatia mtu kura ati kwa sababu alitukanana ama alituimbia wimbo fulani.
Rais Ruto akiwataka wanasiasa kupunguza nyusi joto za kisiasa na kuwafanyia Wakenya kazi.
Sio wakati wa siasa. Si ndio? Sio wakati ya mirengo, sijui kabila hii, sijui kabila ile, sijui dini hii, dini nyingine, chama hii, chama ile, hapana. Wakati huu ni sote tuungane na kushughulika na mambo ya muhimu ambayo yatabadilisha maisha ya wananchi wa Kenya.
Naibu wake Profesa Kithure Kindiki akiendeleza safu hiyo mashambulizi alipozuru kaunti ya Murang'a na Meru.
Sisi kama viongozi tumekataa siasa za mapema. Wale wanaomba viti wajue hakuna uchaguzi saa hii. Wangojee siku ya uchaguzi, tutanyoroshana na siasa ya siku hiyo.
Kikosi kingine cha viongozi wakimwagia maji chama hicho cha DCP, huku wakimsifia mbunge wa Kibwezi Mwingi Mutuse kwa kuleta mswada wa kumtimua afisini.
Kuna mambo mengi ambayo Mheshimiwa Ruto amefanya. Ukiangalia miaka 2.5 ambayo imepita, huwezi kuilinganisha na miaka 10 ambayo ilitangulia.
Amefukuza mkabila mpaka ameenda anzisha chama ya Divide Community Party. Wewe kijana Mtuse niseme.
These are not abuses. These are not insults. These are allegations raised against the state. Instead of attacking and going after the personal attribute, saying that person is lying, that person is abusing, you should actually single out each and respond. The same way you go to UDA Facebook page and say achievements of William Ruto's one term, they should actually use the same template and say, yes, Rigathi is saying about this bank. You give the true position. This is the true position. There is no bank and blah, blah, blah this. Yes, Rigathi is making a statement about, for example, the issue on abductions. You should go and correct that and say about this. Yes, Rigathi is saying it is Uhuru who must it is Ruto who must a sitting president who must attack on former president. Can you dispute that? And you know, that is the only way to win this debate. This debate cannot be won by just saying so-and-so is lying, so-and-so is better, so-and-so is this. Yes, it's true, he's better. But then you need to itemize. You need to itemize your counter, not just a blanket assertion, you know, that person is tribalist. That to me looks escapist. And let me tell you, the danger of Rigathi venom on President Ruto. You know, if the venom will be coming from Raila, it will be easy. You know, you will say the guy is never become president. You know, the guy normally disturbs other president. You know, with Raila, you can get many things to say. But Rigathi is an insider. And let me tell you, Rigathi is still an insider. There are still people in William Ruto government that still tells Rigathi what's going on. Still make WhatsApp calls. Even if us, we are out and some people can still tell us, oh, Kevin, this is this way, this is not this way. How about Rigathi? Now, this is the danger. The president will be in an awkward defensive edge trying to argue with facts. Yes. You know, and this is going to disorganize all these things say he's done. You're saying you've done this, but an interview comes, when you appear somewhere, this is raised. And the William Ruto will be on a defensive. I can tell you, if someone is saying that, you know, the state just need to ignore Rigathi, you cannot ignore him. Because it's not about him, it's about what he's telling the masses. So when you ignore what he's saying, you're actually giving him space to feed the masses. And the masses are the voters. The president will be in an awkward defensive position. Number two, I think when they lose the war, they might descend on Rigathi with the blows. because they can't fight these facts. The only option available is to descend on Rigathi, the state machinery to descend on Rigathi. And that's why you had Rigathi saying that some people are around him and they're being harassed by KRA, ESCC, DCI, blah, blah. Now, those are the tools available for the state. That still emboldens that opposition bench. The other issue is this. Rigathi is consistently charging the masses to remove Ruto. And the image of Ruto is highly irredeemable. It's becoming more irredeemable. By the way, in messaging, there is a phase known as plateau. It will reach a plateau where it doesn't matter what William Ruto says. The people are there. Wewe tusha kuonea. It doesn't matter. They can't change. And that is what Rigathi will do. You'll reach a point where anagonga hivi in a bounce. Anagonga hivi in a bounce. And lastly, the mistrust will sink. In President Ruto's camp, he will start looking around and saying, who is telling Rigathi this? Who is telling Rigathi this? Because of high-profile intelligence leakages. This will make responding to Gachagua very challenging. In fact, one thing you might get is Rigathi is getting more feeds from government. Very many feeds just from government insiders. So that is my take, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Let's meet in the next.